Somalia is a protracted conflict, so at the moment the three main axes of fighting that we've seen are continuing. There's a main conflict between Al-Shabaab and the political authorities and AMISOM, African Union Force, in the south. There is a recurrent situation of violence in the disputed territories in the north. This is between Puntland, Somaliland, and a startup administration called Khartoum. And then there are sporadic incidents of clan fighting that can happen over competitions over resources or different rivalries that develop between certain clans. And then Somalia suffers from cyclic sort of weather events. So there's seasonal drought, and then once the rains come, seasonal flooding in the river valleys. So between those two things, the population ends up very exposed. The needs in Somalia are far outstripped by what's currently present, either the ICRC presence or the larger humanitarian presence. So the difficulty is one of prioritization. It's a bit an ongoing struggle to really try to do as much as possible in a context like that. But in 2015, for instance, between relief and the longer-term resilience-focused activities, reached about 1 million people. We had detention visits to about 4,000 detainees. Some of those people visited multiple times, since the teams do a rotating tour of visits to make sure that there's a continuous observation of conditions and treatment of detention. There's around 30 health clinics that are supported. The number can vary because the situation means that not all clinics are open at all times, but they're really the main network of health support that exists in Somalia. And then we had 4 hospital projects, including 2 stabilization centers, which are providing acute malnutrition response. And the stabilization centers in particular, for instance, end up receiving children and the mothers from districts that can be hundreds of kilometers away. Security, it's an ongoing challenge. It's a unique context where we work with armed escorts and where even the structures have an armed detail guarding them. But the fact that in almost 2 years that I was there was no major security incident for us, that the teams have regular field access, that we do the types of activities we do, whether it's large-scale distributions or microeconomic initiatives where you need to have sort of regular presence and follow-up. And the fact that our access has been steadily increasing in areas controlled by Al-Shabaab, for instance, and that our activities in a zone like Bakul has steadily grown. Those all speak to the fact that the security has been manageable, and that we've found ways to take an appropriate amount of risk but keep implementing our activities. The critical part of working in Somalia is proximity, and for the time being, although we are in a transition, more permanently present, able to have a more regular and a deeper field access than we used to. Real proximity to the communities is still a limiting factor, and especially our protection colleagues, for instance, when they're trying to sort of have an oversight on civilian protection issues, document civilian protection cases, keep a really tight overview of the detention activity they're doing and its impact in the larger community. All those things need a certain amount of proximity that we don't have at the moment, for good reason, but that will hopefully continue to grow. The situation in Somalia itself, despite all the challenges that people are facing, is still slowly, sometimes too slowly because of how difficult it is on communities, but is slowly moving in the right direction.